Topographic profiles are a way to show the actual shape of the land through a topographic map. It's kind of taking the topographic map and turning it in from a two-dimensional form into a three-dimensional form again. It's almost like taking a buzzsaw down the center of the map along a line and then trying to figure out what the shape of the land would be at that location. There are several steps. First, you take your map and label all the contour lines. Next, you place a piece of paper along the line you will be profiling. Then you make a mark each time a contour line, not river, just contour line, hits your paper. You're going to label each mark with the elevation of that contour line. Then you're going to graph your profile, being sure to label your y-axis, as you should for any graph. And finally, you connect the dots, making sure to bulge up for hilltops and bulge down for valleys. So you never have really perfectly flat land. So let's start with the first step. We have a topographic map here. Very simple, basic one. First step is to label all the contour lines. This is the one that's on your sheet. You've got the first one drawn for you, and it asks you to continue drawing the others. The contour interval is 10, and these are all islands. So that means that the outer part is sea level, which is 0. And if you are counting by tens, then this next line would be worth 10. This next line would have an elevation of 20. And this next line would have an elevation of 30. So now you have your lines labeled. Step 2. Place a piece of paper along the line you will be profiling. Normally you'd use scratch paper or the edge of some other form of paper. I am going to use this piece of yellow that I can move around. And I lay it across the line CB. Next, you make a line, make a mark each time a contour line hits your paper, labeling each mark with the elevation of that contour line. So, see how this line hits my paper? Make a mark. Make a mark. Every time a contour line hits my paper, I'm making a mark. Alright? And then I'm supposed to label each of these. Now I'm going to cheat and just drag these over since I can. You will have to label yours. 20 and 30. Now, if this part is 30, then when it comes around over here, it's still 30. This one was 20. When it comes around here, it's still 20. Same here, 10, 10. Same here, 0, 0. Alright? So now we have our paper labeled. This paper will serve as the x-axis for our little graph. So you're going to graph your profile, being sure to label the y-axis. So, I have my piece of paper completely labeled, as you should have on yours. And I'm taking it down to my graph paper at the bottom. As I said, the spacing of these lines is going to serve as my x-axis. The elevation of each line is going to end up being my y-axis. So I've got several lines here. I'm just going to, I go from 0 to 30, so I'm just going to make this 0, this line 0. Here, let me draw my lines out a little bit. And that'll be 10, and that'll be my 20 line, and 30 line, and 40 line. Not that I go that high, but I can do some as well. 10, 20, that line's worth 20, this line's worth 30, and this next line is worth 40. So I have my x-axis, the way these are spread out, and my y-axis. Now, the next step is to graph my plot points. Above this line has an elevation of 0. So, where I hit the 0, I'm going to make a dot right above that line. This line is marked for 10, so I follow it up, and at the 10. This was 20, so I look over to the left, and here's my 20 line. This was 30, so 30 line, 30, 30 line, 20, 20 line, 10, 10, and 0 is 0. So now, what's happened is I have taken each of these points shows the elevation of my contour lines, and it keeps the shape, the spacing, perfect. Because if you notice, the steps on the left are very spread out, which means a gentle slope, and the lines on the right are very close together, indicating a steeper slope. So, last step, connect the dots. Make sure to bulge up for hilltops and bulge down for valleys. So, I'm going to connect my dots. There. There. Actually, I'm going to use something a little different here. Alright, because this is too thick. I can't draw very well. Up to that line. Up to that line. And trying to keep it smooth, but not doing so well. Alright. And I'm going to come down over here. And connect the dots again. Now, I'm not going to have a flat hilltop, so I'm going to bulge up a bit. Hopefully you can draw better than I can, right-handed. So now we have, ideally this would be smoother, but we should have a hill that is gentle on the left and steep on the right. This is our profile, our side view of our map. You do that with any other map.